Hi friends, Sarah from Grace in My Space here, and today we are tackling another rather ambitious DIY. My skill level when it comes to carpentry is about yay high, but I am ready to tackle this because this has been a project that's been on my list for over 3 years now. Today I'm going to show you how I take an existing doorway and turn it into a built-in shelf. You might ask, why would you want to turn a doorway into a shelf? I'm so glad you asked. We have a door that walks right into our bedroom. From the dining room to the bedroom. This is not ideal because Exhibit A. If you caught my video home tour, you might have noticed that where I'm standing right now was originally an indoor hot tub. So when we bought the house, we actually took down a wall. I'll throw up some pictures for you. We completely took out the hot tub that was in this space and turned it into our dining room. But since it was originally an indoor spa kind of master suite feel, the hot tub room walked into the main bedroom. When we removed the hot tub, we didn't deal with the door situation. It's just always been there, and now I want to remove it. Thankfully, we have another entrance to the bedroom down the hall, and so this doorway is not needed at all. Now, we had a couple of options to solve the privacy issue of having the dining room walk directly into our main bedroom. One was to completely seal up the doorway with the cedar plank that's on the wall. However, that would entail completely removing the cedar plank that's existing so that it didn't look like a patched in rectangle in the middle of the wall. Not only is that a fairly costly undertaking right now with lumber prices, but it also would have caused a delay in our timeline. We talked to a local contractor and he recommended making sure that if we were going to replace the cedar planking, that we let the new cedar plank acclimate to our climate so that once it's installed, it doesn't cause gaps compared to the existing wood. That was going to require more time, more money, and more effort really to install new cedar plank along the entire wall. The second option, which I was ready to go for, was to find a big piece of furniture and just stick it over the opening. That option would have allowed flexibility if we ever decided that we wanted the doorway back, just to move the piece of furniture out of the way and gain the doorway again. But really, I had my heart set on completely closing it in, giving true privacy, which also on the other side of this wall gives the bedroom more wall space. And so I decided to try out my hand at building a built-in. Only time will tell if this was a good idea. Oh my gosh! I think this doorway is like 200 pounds, pretty sure, yep. All right, now I have the trim off, I have the door out of the way. I'm gonna take off. Hey, Ellie. This is Ellie. I'm gonna try and use the existing door jamb as the framework and the structure for my shelves. I don't really want to remove it because it's something I would have to just put back in. So I'm gonna have to see if I can adjust it to be the right size. Because what I need to do is fill this in with drywall so that it's patched, and this is gonna be one seamless drywall wall on the interior of our bedroom. However, to do that, I'm gonna have to trim down the frame because it's actually too thick. It wouldn't let my drywall lay flush with the existing drywall. So it could be interesting. Really hope that this doesn't all just fall apart on me because this is a brand new to me kind of project that I've never attempted before. And I really don't know if it's gonna work at all, which tends to be how my projects go. I started by measuring the width of my circular saw. I added that 1/2 inch that I needed to cut out, and then I installed a scrap piece of wood that was a stray edge that would serve as a fence so that my circular saw could ride up it to form a straight line for my cut. This worked really well. I don't know how I would have gotten a straight line otherwise. I did it on both sides of the door jamb as well as the top piece. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. Now that I have the majority of it cut, I'm gonna use my multi-tool here. Just get where the blade couldn't get to on the top and the bottom, and then it'll come right out. Much better than the last one. I'm getting it down, guys. This one's not gonna be fun. The safety goggles were a lifesaver. Yeah, that wasn't fun. Some of those corner pieces were pretty tricky to get out, but the multi-tool, as well as some pry bars, eventually made it happen. Well, that's not what I wanted to have happen. It worked! Oh, I'm hot and gross and really dusty. And as you can see, now we have a 1/2 inch available for me to install a drywall patch. All right, I have my 1/2 inch cut out of the door jamb, which, if you were wondering, why is she cutting the existing door jamb instead of just building a new frame? I was wondering that too, right about the time when I had the circular saw above my head. But there are actually a couple of reasons that I chose to do it this way. Number one, I am not a skilled carpenter, which means that it would be very difficult for me to get a plumb frame for my built-in. The existing door jamb is already level everywhere. It's also in there, which means I didn't have to tear out the old one. I don't have to put in a new frame. Number two, it saves me money because the existing door jamb is already in there. I don't have to buy the wood to build a new frame for built-in shelves. And number three, it eliminates any kind of structural changes that I'm making to the house. The door jamb is still installed. I did not move anything, so I didn't make any structural changes to this opening. I cut out a piece of drywall to fit the opening and simply placed it in there, and then I screwed that drywall directly to the door frame. There is no stud behind it. Usually you would put a stud every 16 inches, but for this patch, it's just gonna be non-structural. All right, I have everything in place. Now I'm gonna put up some modern shiplap paneling, and I'm gonna install it using construction adhesive because there's only 1/2 inch of drywall that I am adhering it to. There's no studs or anything, so I need to be able to attach it securely, but it's not going to provide structural support. This is a point of this project where I want to remind you that I am not a professional contractor. I am a DIYer. I installed the paneling and I made sure that all of the lines were perfectly straight. Then I installed spacers on all 3 sides that's going to provide me with the depth that I need to add my face frame trim in the end. All right, now that I have all of my wood cut, I'm gonna sand it all down. It's already a select board, but I'm gonna use 150 grit on it to give it a really nice finish so that it will accept the stain without having any kind of blemishes. Once all the pieces were sanded and all the debris wiped off, I applied a custom stain, which I will link for you in the description. Now let's get to the actual build. The majority of my shelves are made out of 1x3 poplar. Since my floor joined laminate flooring with carpet, I added a 2x4 to the base so that I had a level surface to start on. Then I layered in a 1x3 on the bottom and used 1x3s on each side as the shelf support system. As I went, I made sure that each piece was completely level before gluing and nailing it in. I used construction glue for extra stability since the shelves are not nailed into the back piece, they're only nailed into the sides. As you can see, it's a very simple framework for the actual construction of the shelves. The real game changer is adding the face framing. I used 1x2 poplar. I did miter cuts in the corners so that it looked seamless and professional and also matched the door trim. Then I added the 1x2 poplar to the front of each shelf to make them appear thicker. have the framework all done, and now I'm gonna put the finishing touches on that actually make it look like a built-in shelf. The last piece is going in! Oh, I made this with my hands! I am so excited for how it turned out. Now I get to style this space. It's gonna be closed in, full privacy for the first time in 4 years. This project is a really big testament to just trying something. I think a lot of times we're frozen in fear when it comes to projects that are outside of our normal skill level, and sometimes all you have to do is just be willing to try. You can make sure and check out the blog post in the description where I will share a full tutorial including all of my cut pieces in case you have a doorway that you might want to fill with a built-in. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure and hit the subscribe, tap the bell, and be notified when more videos are launched.